Hi, this is Colin from Watch Off the Cuff, and today I'm going to show you how to do a battery change start to finish on a Seiko SNA411. The movement inside this watch is a 7T62, and I also have a video that shows how to use the alarm function on this particular watch. And I also have a separate video to show you how to reset the chrono hands, which, if your battery ran out while the chrono was running, this center second hand and the running minute hands just behind it there will not be in the zero position. Don't panic. There's a way for you to manually adjust those with crown position and operating the pushers here. So if once your battery change is done, when you operate the chrono, nothing comes back to zero, do not worry. There's a separate procedure for that. So I have a video for that and operate the alarm. I'll put that in the description as well. So let's begin. This watch has a screw back case. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to remove the bracelet. Sometimes if you don't want to remove the bracelet, I could simply push in, for example, this spring bar and then open it up that way. But just for interest's sake, I'm going to show you how to remove the bracelet because this particular watch has a solid end link and it's a little bit tricky. So what you would normally do is you would take your spring bar tool, this happens to be the Bergeron 6767, and you would come in here to your spring bar and you would place in here and you would open that up. Now, the problem with a solid end link is that there usually isn't enough play. So once I get that one out of the way, I try to move it out of the hole, sort of like kind of move the end link a little bit out of position, flip it around and do the same thing. But when you have a very nice end link like this, it's so precision fit that as soon as you move it around, it just clicks back into place. The same thing would happen with a luxury watch like Rolex or Tudor or Omega. The end links are going to fit so nicely that if you don't press the spring bar at both sides at the same time and ease it out, that you won't be able to get it out. They'll just simply click back into their appropriate holes. So I'm going to show you how to use this tweezer type. There's a couple of tricks with it. If you have not removed bracelets before, you can always get a little bit of masking tape, or in this case, I've got some polyamide tape, and you can literally just tape off those lugs to make sure that you don't scratch the watch. Now, I'm not concerned in this case. I've done it many times, so I'm not going to bother with the tape. Okay, so the first thing is we have this tweezer type tool, and the first mistake people do is leave the watch flat down, the face of the watch on the bench. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the watch and we're going to have the the end link itself as close to the bench as possible. So just so I can line it up here, and I've got a camera in the way, so I'm just going to line it up here so I can make sure I grab both spring bars. I'm going to rotate it down here, and then I'm going to squeeze this. Let's make sure we got this in position. Move that out of the way so we move it into the little hump there that's in the things. Make sure we're in position here. Only takes an extra time when someone else is watching you do it. Squeeze that. So you can see here that because it was close to the bench as possible, I could get as close as I can to literally squeezing and then just removing the watch from the link instead of trying to get the link or end link away from the watch. So if we do it the other side, now that we've got the bracelet off and it's a little easy to access, we'll do the same thing here, and I could probably demonstrate it a little easier. It's just without the other bracelet portion in the way. So here we're going to place the end link against the bench, pull. You can see here I've got total control. So I can now, when I'm ready to put this back, I'm going to do the same thing in reverse and place it in like this. What you don't want to do is lay the end link over the watch like this. Then you end up pressing down and you end up scratching the inside of the lugs as you try to keep enough pressure on the links to, or the spring bar to get it in there. So this way, and you can see I could even pick it up a little bit. I could put it in there, very easy. And again, like we're just trying to control the whole process, start to finish. Of course, now that I put it in all easy, now it's gonna take me a minute to get it out. There we go. All right, so on to the next step. Okay, so this watch has a screw back case, so we could use something like a traditional jacks or wrench, which goes in the 3 positions, or we could use something like this, which is the Horatech Maxi Press, and today I'm going to use this, this tool. Okay, we're going to take this, so we're going to load in the watch here. has adjustable Delrin pins. In this case, I've got the Delrin pins in their widest position to make sure that they don't interfere with the pushers at all on the chrono. So we get that in there. We'll slide that in like that. I'll bring down the jaws. So this has a number of attachments and very specific dies. For example, if I was working on Rolex or Breitling, for example, this one is just a standard pin that we're just going to close that up like there, and then we could literally just open it like this. Yeah, it was on there nice and tight. Get the whole thing up. All right, now let's go to the bench and we'll do the battery change. Okay, so we've got that loosened up a little bit. I'll just use my little Bergeron Magic 8 ball there. Just grab a little bit just for the rest of the way, and then we'll ease this off. As you can see, I'm wearing finger cots to make sure that I never touch anything directly in the movement itself. And then we can take a look and see about removing this battery. Now this only has a little bit of a clip over top. So usually I use a small fine screwdriver that I just use for this purpose. It just happens to be a 1 mil, and I'm just going to gently bring that out. And then as soon as I possibly can, I'll use a plastic set of tweezers just to make sure I don't mar anything on there whatsoever. So it happens to have an original Seiko battery. This is actually from my own collection. And I don't think I've ever changed the battery. Obviously not, because I don't buy the Seiko. So we can see here. See if we get that in the camera a little bit there. Is it going to focus? Anyway, so we have a Seiko branded SR927W. So we'll do the crossover and we'll get a battery for it. Okay, our crossover on this is going to be, in this case I use Renata batteries, is going to be a 399. So it also has on here SR927W. So we're going to take a look at that one there. I go through a lot of batteries, obviously. So you can see here, it is not expired. Sometimes people purchase batteries on their own and don't check the expiry date and end up having the battery wear a little shorter than should be appropriate. So we'll open this up. We'll slide that gently in place. Give it a little press. And there we go. Now usually before I close it up again or do anything else, I'll just gently take a quick look. We'll flip it over and we'll see here that down there in the running seconds, it is running. So we'll just turn around this quickly back. I'm going to take a little bit of Rotico and I'm just going to clean the seat. Get rid of the old oil. I'm then going to take, in this case, some peg wood, but you could use a screwdriver. The only nice thing with this, I know that I'm not going to mar the gasket at all with a sharp edge. I'm going to take some Rotico. I'm just going to dab off any little bits of debris on there. Re-grease that gasket. Put it back in place. Flip this on. Now that's got a little bit of a spring action above the battery. There was a piece that's put up a little bit there. Make sure it makes good contact with the ground portion of the watch. I'm just going to give it a gentle turn. It's always important to be just patient at this point, and if it doesn't feel like it's engaging properly at first, you can always just back it off, for example like this, press down and give it a couple turns. You can make sure that you're not cross-threading it. It's just worth it. Take a little bit of extra time. It should feel smooth all the way. So I'll just give it a quick turn like that, and then we'll go back to the maxi press. All right, back to the maxi press we go here. Put it down in place. Again, we're still looking for smooth. Now it's seated fairly well now. We don't have to be too careful, but it's always nice. It should feel nice. Now this doesn't have to be cranked on. We've got a fair amount of leverage here. So it just needs to be snug, not overly tight. And now we can go back to the bench and put that bracelet back on. Okay, let's get the bracelet back on here. Now, when you're putting this back on, when the person is wearing it on their wrist, we have the top here, the Seiko is going to face them on their wrist. So we've got that oriented correctly. We're going to flip that over, flip this side over. Glad it went back into focus. All right, we're going to get our tweezer style. And like we said, what we did before is we're going to leave it in place on the bench. And I'm going to grab the spring bar. I'm going to compress it. Make sure it's in the middle there. I'm going to place the watch inside. I'm going to lift it a little bit. Give it a wiggle, and it's back in place. Let's just double check. Yep, we've got this oriented correctly, so when we fold the clasp, it'll be correct. Let's flip this around. We'll do the other side. So this time it comes a little bit tricky because we're going to have the bracelet in the way. We'll perform the same operation. We'll get it in place. Compress. And then we'll place the watch head into the end lug. Give it a wiggle, and it's back in place. And you can see now we've got our watch. And then if we were to close the clasp, watch, clasp is in the correct position. And all we need to do is set the current time, and we're in place. So I'll mention this briefly. You've probably heard it before, is that if you're going to quick set the date, you should never do it anywhere between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. So what I usually do is I simply just put my, I just put the hands just down to the bottom, and I just move the second position. Now that I know that I'm nowhere near midnight, I can set the date. Today it happens to be the 15th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to the 14th. I'm going to pull it out to the second position, and I'm going to manually roll it over to the 15th so that I know when midnight is. Okay, so there we go. So we're in the morning, and it's currently about 5 minutes to 12 right now. So I'm going to roll that all the way to there. Press it in, screw the crown, and we're done. So in passing remarks here, if you want to set the alarm, I have a separate video for that. I'll put a link for it. And if the chrono is not resetting to 0, then I also have a separate video for that as well, which, don't worry, it's not a major process. It's a crown position operation with some pusher combinations to reset those, the running seconds and the running minute. And away you go. Thanks for watching.